Yo, what you guys saying? Good afternoon to everybody listening. What's going on? I'm Savage Hanma.
And I'm Pie Truck, and we're back again. Another week, another episode, another stuff to talk about.
Yo, another stuff to talk about. Ugh. What an interesting week it's been.
It's been busy for both of us.
Yeah.
And not like with personal things.
Yeah, it's just been like a weird week.
So we really haven't had much time to prepare anything. We have topics, we have things to talk about.
Yeah.
We can talk about things, but
And I don't know if we've made it clear to everybody, but we are from Canada, and there's some ridiculousness going on here right now.
with like regulations and restrictions.
Yeah, in regards to truckers.
The truckers. Right, yeah. I guess we could talk about that. I literally had no idea that this was happening until I went over to a friend's house the other day. And he's like, have you heard about the trucker convoys? And I'm like, what trucker convoys? Just completely missed my radar.
Yeah, it's like a thing. They're pulling back the mandates. I'm driving to Ottawa, gonna pull up in Ottawa. And we're like 2 hours away from Ottawa.
Yeah, so they went right through our city.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I didn't see any of it.
I didn't see any of it either. I didn't even know what happened.
Yeah, but like that's like a thing. But yeah, honestly, it's been like a weird week for both of us. So we're just, this episode's just gonna be us, just being us.
Just chilling.
We might talk about Star Wars. We might talk about Korean pop singers. We might talk about Korean pop singers. No, okay. Let's get into some stuff though. We got a couple categories we want to go over. So we'll play with those and we'll see where those take us.
Yeah, we'll see where things go.
Yeah, because honestly, like I think this is gonna be a fun episode. Just because we're so, unawares.
Unprepared.
That's
add an S to that. Unprepareds.
Unprepareds? Yes. Yes. I love that. Okay. So, what do you want to do first?
I thought you were going to do the
Yeah? You want to do it?
Bruce Lee stuff first.
Let's get into it. Let's bring
them up. Okay. So, let's see. We got some...
My buddy Bruce.
Can I do this while I'm streaming? Probably. Let's find out.
Now, I just wonder...
That's wrong.
See, okay, it's... My problem really isn't with Bruce Lee. My problem is with...
oh, he's small. Why is he small?
There he is. My problem isn't with Bruce. My problem is with his community. Because his community are redonkulous people. They're rhinoceros, is what I would say. Like, I just don't, I mean, I don't know.
I wish it
This
was
no. This is exactly what's happening with him in the background is his entire fan base shifty. Shifty.
Yeah. We've been talking about this a lot, like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just about Bruce Lee and about like his fan base and stuff. Because I've never really been on either side of the argument, like for or against him. I've been pretty impartial about the whole thing, but then you kind of explained the situation, and I can kind of see why people might be lifting him up more than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Mike's basically trying to say is people suck the dick off Bruce for no fucking reason. That's what Mike is trying to say. But you know why? You know why the beef? You know what the beef is? You know what the beef is with Bruce fans? It's not Bruce himself. It's all the incredulous shit that they say about Bruce. So, like, for instance, Bruce didn't have any filmed fights. We know that.
Yeah, there's only one known filmed fight of Bruce Lee. And that's, I mean, like, one, you mentioned that, and then I put out the argument, well, Bruce Lee's from, like, 60s, 70s era. They didn't really record as much back then. And then you went, yeah, but they were recording fights. Like, if there was sanctioned fights happening between two people who were, like, in martial arts, in, like, whatever it might be. I don't know if MMA was around back then.
No, not MMA, but, like, there was boxing matches that were going on, karate matches that were going on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these things were happening, and they were being recorded even back then. So that argument doesn't work.
Lethway fights. Lethway. You know what I mean? Not even Muay Thai, Lethway. Like, that were being recorded in the 50s and 60s. 60s and 70s.
Yeah. Now, mind you, obviously there are recordings of Bruce Lee in, like, doing fight choreography for films and stuff, but you can't really account choreography for film being his actual skill level, because obviously things are always going to be over dramatized for film.
Yeah.
Right? If you're the hero, you're an action hero in a film, you're going to be fighting better than you can possibly fight, because you're supposed to be a character that is better at fighting than you are.
Exactly.
Right? So you can't really use all of the films he's been in as proof of his fighting ability, because we can't confirm. I mean, obviously, we can say, what we can do is we can say that, he's in movies and he's doing fight choreography and he's doing his own fight choreography.
Yep.
So obviously he's an athletic individual and he's capable of doing these things, but there's no practicality to it, right?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, exactly. I would say Bruce has a comprehensive knowledge, I would say Bruce Lee had a comprehensive knowledge of martial arts. But what I won't say is that he had the application to use a lot of these things.
Yeah.
That's why Jeet Kune Do used a lot of techniques like eye pokes and groin kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't based around fighting. It wasn't based around, you know what I mean? Take the school of boxing. Right, the school of Western boxing. It was not developed in a way that you're like using kind of, bitch assness to win fights.
Cheap tactics.
Yeah, cheap tactics. Like Muay Thai is not designed in that. Even Muay Baran isn't designed in that way. Like Taekwondo isn't designed in that way. Like I think there were a lot of things that Bruce admired about martial arts, but there were a lot of things that he just wasn't willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say Ramon Deckers, who was beating ass at the same time, would have put a fucking dress on Bruce Lee. Like, that's, and the whole Mike Tyson Bruce Lee debate is too much.
Yeah.
Like, Mike one shots.
Yeah, and the thing, like, the whole thing that brought this up was a debate forum that you were on.
Yeah.
And it was Bruce Lee versus
Mike Tyson.
What? No, it wasn't the other guy. One of the Pauls.
Oh, yeah, Bruce Lee. Yeah, okay, because, some dude was saying that Bruce Lee would beat up Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Now, Jake Paul, we know that he doesn't have as much fighting experience as a lot of other fighters.
But he's got more knockouts on cam than Bruce Lee does. Debate me on it. Debate me on it.
It's sad. That is really sad.
Yeah, I don't like it. Come fight me.
How much people has he knocked out? One? In a ring?
Jake?
Yeah.
No, I think he's knocked out 3 people right now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that actually surprised me.
Yeah,
I
know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We're looking that up.
Yeah.
We're looking that up.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that Jake has knocked out 3 people. The Nate Robinson dude, Ben Askren, and now Tyron Woodley.
Okay.
4 knockouts. Apparently he has 4 knockouts.
4 knockouts. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So now all we have to do is figure out how many recorded Bruce Lee knockouts we have that aren't from films.
How many fights does Bruce Lee have recorded?
We're looking that up right now, guys. Give us a moment.
You know, just for like the argument's sake, I've recorded 3 recorded fights. Still he has on his record. No. I looked for recorded fights, and they say he's got 3 on his record.
On his entire record.
Not recorded. No.
Not even recorded?
No, on his record.
He's got 3. He's been in 3 fights.
And it says, as it were.
As it were.
Yes. That's the wording literally. Okay,
yes.
His record is in quotes, and as it were follows his record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the sketchiest wording ever follows Bruce Lee.
Oh my goodness, they put record in quotes.
That's what I said. They put record in quotes and then put as it were after his quotes. So it's not even like a real thing.
Yeah, well, it's not a confirmed thing. It is kind of hearsay type thing, if you know what hearsay is.
Bruce Lee has 3 made up fights.
Not necessarily
They're made up fights.
You can debate whether those 3 fights are made up or not, but here's the thing. Bruce Lee has 3 fights, as it were, in his record, and Jake Paul has 4 knockouts.
Yep.
So that's what we're working with.
Yep, and Jake Paul stomps low day. 3 minutes. Maybe Bruce makes it out of the first. Maybe he makes it out of the second round, but Jake Paul outweighs him by, I think, even if Bruce Lee weighed in...
the weight difference is the big thing. Because people don't think about weight difference. They're like, oh yeah, little guy versus big guy. The little guy can take it. Most of the time, the little guy can't take it.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. It just happens, man. It just happens. Sometimes you kick a dude so hard it looks...
Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Like, Mike Tyson is another one where it's like,
huge
really?
mismatch.
You're putting Bruce Lee against, like, one of the heaviest hitters?
For real.
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, I'll pick somebody like Ramon Deckers, who's a Muay Thai fighter his size, and Bruce Lee gets mollywopped.
Yeah, even then.
He doesn't need to be fighting heavyweight boxers. Like,
yeah, they always put him against, like, these crazy guys, and it's like, give him a chance, in the debates at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
I wouldn't put Ramon fucking Deckers against Mike Tyson, and that guy is actually a trained Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, Mike is a completely different...
There's a reason why weight classes exist.
Yeah. Well, not just that. Mike tried to pay a fucking zookeeper to fight a gorilla one time, and the zookeeper's like, I don't know if this is, like, a thing I should do. You know? Like, what if my gorilla loses? You know? Like, what the fuck? Only Mike Tyson would consider fighting a silverback gorilla. Like, pfft, no. You put Bruce Lee against him? Bruce Lee wasn't fighting guys in his weight class.
Really? He was actually fighting people below him?
No,
I mean,
he just
in the
wasn't
3
fighting.
fights?
No, I don't really know what the fights are about. I can look into them if you want. Who did he fight in real life? Bruce Lee didn't fight professionally, so he didn't have a record.
Oh, okay. There we go. Right there.
And that is the link that the 3 pseudo fights sent me to. So, like, no.
Yeah, so we don't have much to go off of.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
We have a sparring match.
Yeah, we have a sparring match.
But Jake Paul stomps low diff.
Based on the sparring match, I would say yeah. Easily.
Yeah. Like, Jake, yeah, even at Bruce's max weight, we could give Bruce Lee, like, 165, 165, 170. Because in the UFC game, they max him out, I think, at welterweight, so he's at 170.
Yeah.
Like, even if we give him that, I think Jake Paul still outweighs him, beats him up. Like, Jake Paul, I think, what did he fight?
He's over, like, 200, I want to say. 220, 240?
Yeah.
It'd be crazy if I was right, because I was just pulling those numbers out of the air.
I don't think he's that big. No, 190.
Oh, what? Really? Yeah. Okay, he's actually a lot smaller than I thought,
like,
then.
Even if he cut down to, like, I don't know.
If he fights at 190, he probably would cut down to, like, 160, 180, 170.
Yeah, 185.
Yeah.
So he might make 170. So say Jake Paul is an animal and he cuts down to 170 and fights Bruce Lee at 170. I say he stones Bruce Lee with a right hand.
Yeah.
And it takes him...
Because he's gonna... If he's cutting the weight, it's gonna be fat, and he's gonna keep his muscle as much as he can.
Honestly, yeah. And that kid is okay. He's a big kid.
He's beefy.
He's a big
I'll give him that. I don't know anything about his fighting talent because he kind of just showed up out of nowhere in the last year and a half.
Well, when he was fighting Ben Askren, my buddy and I were watching tape of him, and he was knocking guys out in the gym.
Really?
Like, yeah, knocking out.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Like he's a tough kid. I'm not saying like, listen, like I'm not in this whole camp like Jake Paul's a fucking world beater, but I'm not. Like, I'm saying he beats up Bruce Lee because Bruce Lee was, like, tougher than your average cart boy. You know what I mean? He's tougher than, like, the average guy at your grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
He just knew a lot about martial arts and was in great shape. Like, he might stick his thumb in your eye and then kick you in the nuts. You know?
And that's,
you know what I
that's
mean?
the thing. Is, like, when you put him against, like, regular people who don't really have any fighting experience at all, or even people who, like, go to the gym but don't fight, like, they're jacked.
Just jacked, yeah.
He probably would be able to beat them just because he has some experience in fighting.
Straight up.
But when you get to people who actually are like trained in fighting, it becomes more of a necessity to have actual verifiable evidence that you can actually contend with those types of people.
Straight up.
Right? You can't just say you're the best at everything, but then never do it. You know, I could say I am the best 3D animator in the entire planet. But I've never done anything in 3D animation that's worth talking about. Oh, someone joined. Hello there.
Oh, Black Superman. What's going on, buddy? We're just talking about Bruce Lee. That's what we're doing.
We're talking about Bruce Lee.
Yeah, and how terrible Bruce is. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's no viability to what Bruce can do. Like... yeah, like there's just no applicability. I don't believe Bruce can do what people say he can do, and there's no proof to back it up.
Yeah.
But Jake Paul, on the other hand, can knock you the fuck out. Speaking of which, actually, hey, Superman, now that you're in here, you and I were the one that were watching fucking Jake Paul knock out sparring partners. Do you remember that? Do you remember when Jake Paul was knocking people out in prep for Ben Askren, and we were like, oh fuck, Ben's in trouble? Like that, like I have more reason to believe that like during the sparring tapes from Jake Paul that like Jake Paul could beat the shit out of Bruce. I've just 100%. I don't even think. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where we're coming from. Is like he did have martial arts skill. He was athletic, and he had some type of training, but he probably couldn't contend with a lot of people who have actually been like fighting their entire life and have like extensive training and have histories with like matchups and stuff.
Well, like Jake Paul has a wrestling background. He didn't learn striking, from what I understand, until like just recently, right? So the fact that he's learned as much as he has. And Bruce Lee didn't take that initiative. That's what I hinge my argument on, really. Is and that he was around fighters, just didn't.
Didn't you say before that Bruce Lee there was actually people who were calling Bruce Lee out to have fights with them, and he would never engage with people.
There were like, yeah, and that was the thing. China was like, at that time, China was one of those places where they did like weird dojo fights.
Yeah.
And like I've heard from multiple accounts that like Bruce got publicly called out. But I mean, that was like back home when he was here, right? And I can't imagine he would go back just to do like kung fu fights. But at the same time, like, if that's in your element and you don't want to use Western martial arts, then I imagine go back home and do traditional kung fu. But
yeah,
the thing with Bruce is if Bruce wanted to fight, he had camera crews around him all the time. So
yeah,
the
like,
viability of him being a street fighter doesn't hold up.
Yeah, that's true too. He was like constantly on movie sets and stuff. Like there were people there with like, with the equipment. If he wanted to go fight someone, he could just ask a cameraman to walk wherever and just film him fighting a dude.
Yeah, like Black Superman's got a good point. Like that's and again, like I'm gonna dunk. I dunk on Bruce because his community built. I dunk on Legends Bruce because I respect how Bruce felt about martial arts because I feel the exact same way.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point to bring up. Is that like we're not dunking on him as a person.
Yeah.
You know, we actually do respect this guy. He did actually do a lot to, like, even just like the film industry in general. Like, he is so influential in the film industry and just martial arts in Hollywood.
Yeah. He modernized martial arts movies for the West.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, we can't detract him for that.
Nope.
But there is a lot of people who believe that is the real, like, that version of him is the real deal, right?
Exactly. The fact that, like, his community believes at all that there's a fucking reasonable chance that he would have stood a chance against Mike Tyson. That's not even something I would be willing to see.
Yeah?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't watch Mike Tyson in his prime fight a fucking 170-pound guy from the UFC, let alone fucking Bruce Lee. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, man, the people that say that shit really never understood how hard Mike hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like...
He was a child knocking out grown-ass fucking men. He was the youngest heavyweight champion in the world.
Yeah.
He was terrifying. He was fucking spooky. Spooky. Mike said he beat half of his opponents on the way to the ring because they would just not engage with him. He would stare them down the whole time they were walking in. And the whole time, if they beat him to the ring, the whole time he was fucking walking in. Like, Mike was a different type of animal. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. That's the thing, Soups. Like, if Bruce Lee was that good, then why is no one like... You mean like the Jeet Kune Do, right? Like, why doesn't anyone use Jeet Kune Do? Because the Tao of Jeet Kune Do has a bunch of fuckery, like groin kicks, eye pokes, ear stab.
Things that are not legal in, like, what do you call that?
Just conventional martial arts, I would say.
Yeah. I was going to say, the commercialized martial arts.
Oh, yeah, the fighting community.
Yeah,
things that
like,
just are frowned upon in fighting.
Yeah. I actually watched this whole... I showed you the...
I mean, it's... We could make arguments that some dudes have, Soups. Like, we could make arguments that some guys have adapted and become like world beaters. Like Tenshin Nasukawa is a pretty good example of that. I would say Floyd Mayweather. Well, Floyd never stepped outside of his scope of things, but I would say Floyd. I would say John Jones. I would say there's guys that proved they could be the best of the best. I just like no, exactly. Like, it's there's no Bruce Lee of the new generation. That's what you're saying? There's no new Bruce.
Yeah, and there's no one who's taken Jeet Kune Do to the level that people think Bruce Lee took it to in his time.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
There's no like.
There's no one that actually lived up to that expectation. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And when you take that into account, it's like, why was he the only person who could do this? If he was able to do it, then why has no one else been able to tread that same path?
Right, especially when he laid out literally everything that he did the entire way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's maybe because One Punch Man doesn't exist. Like, Bruce Lee... Well, yeah, well, exactly. Like, with all the hype around Legends Bruce Lee, like, Brandon should have been fucking bullet bending. You know what I mean? He should have been doing bullet time and then just crushing people. But he wasn't, man. And it's kind of... I don't know. The hype around Bruce Lee is kind of sad. But again, like, this isn't like one of those things where I'm shitting on Bruce as a person, because I've always loved his movies. I've always respected his demeanor towards martial arts, and I don't have anything nasty to say about the guy. But his community and his lack of application are the things that I have a problem with, and I don't think anybody can really debate me on those things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I think his community hyped him up to be bigger than he is, and I think his lack of application has left him in a place where we can't prove anything about him.
Yeah, and that's the other thing we need to consider is the fact that, you know, some things are lost to history. We're going off of what we do have available. And what we have available doesn't give us the impression that he is as good as people now assume he was.
Yeah.
And again, that could even just be people trying to look at something from the past and just kind of over glorifying it because they want it to be true, as opposed to it actually being true, or even them actually believing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for the public to dissect information, especially when the information really isn't like hard evidence.
Yeah.
It leaves a gray area almost.
Yeah.
Right? There's like almost like fact and then and literal fiction, right? Because we don't know what the guy was capable of. We don't know what he'd be willing to do. But again, like, it all comes down to, you know, Jake Paul knocking Bruce Lee out in fucking 2 rounds. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee comes out sharp, throws. Even we'll say it's a mixed rules fight. Like, Bruce Lee's got a you know, a knowledge of grappling. Even with all that Bruce Lee, or even with that bullshit that Hoist Gracie pulled back in the day, I don't think that Bruce has enough knowledge to pull off a solid win against Jake Paul. Especially if Jake actually does have a solid wrestling background. He's bigger, has wrestling and boxing.
Yeah, Superman said that he's got 40 pounds on him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a big difference in weight.
Yeah, that's Cosmo Imai fighting Dudley, but they're just like, one guy can't grapple, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine if Dudley could have grappled that fight, like, and it was just Cosmo striking, like, that would have been gross. Just getting pounded on the whole fucking time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Again, that's why we have weight classes.
No, straight up.
And none of the Bruce Lee, I'll call them Bruce Lee stands because I don't know what else to call them. They never put Bruce Lee against people that would be reasonable fights. They always put him against, like, the biggest, hardest hitting people of the time.
Yeah, like fucking Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, they're like, yeah, Mike Tyson, like, why do you pick these psychos, man? You guys just want like a little Chinese guy killed by a giant black dude. What is this thing? What I don't understand. Like,
it's because those are the people who are seen as the best of the time.
Yeah.
And they just want Bruce Lee to be better than that person.
But like,
I think that's what it is.
Even if you put Bruce versus Conor McGregor, like, Conor one-shots Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so fast. And I don't think anybody's going to dispute that. Like, Conor one-shots Bruce and puts his ass down. Like, there just isn't... I don't know. Like, I would have to... There isn't a mainstream MMA fighter that's actually good that I think Bruce Lee could get a win on.
Yeah.
Like, any in the top 20 anywhere.
Yeah, if you're just looking at the top 20 fighters?
Yeah, top 20 anywhere. You know, I can't see, like, yeah, exactly, not MMA. And even boxing, like, I would say top 50 boxers, Bruce isn't getting a win on. Top 50 Muay Thai fighters in Thailand, Bruce Lee's not getting a win on.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's just, don't even fucking mess around with the Koreans, because there's only, like, fucking 80 solid Taekwondo fighters, so you fuck around with the top 50 Taekwondo fighters in Korea, get your head kicked off, you know? Like, you don't want to be fucking around over there, man. They're dangerous, dude. They're dangerous, dude. Park School Taekwondo will just fucking light you up. They don't play, man. Fucking don't play. But, well, so what do you... Fucking, man, again, I just want to clarify, I'm not shitting on Bruce Lee, I'm shitting on Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee is the Legends version. And he's just a fugazi dude, man.
Yeah, and feats that are, like, I've watched some of the videos you showed me that talk about Legends Bruce Lee, and the feats are kind of ridiculous. It's like, maybe someone could have done that, but we don't have any evidence that he did any of this stuff, and so we can't really, like, yeah, it's because you can make claims about something, and you can, and then there's also like people can say stuff like if with hearsay is someone says Bruce Lee did this thing, that's a type of evidence, but the problem is that it holds a lot less weight than actually having video evidence of it happening, or having like, instead of having one person say it, having like 20, 30 people at an event go, oh yeah, Bruce Lee did this, right? And most of the evidence that we have on Bruce is just hearsay. It's just people who say that he was able to do this stuff. And that's all we have to go on.
Yeah, and the numbers just don't add up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, people say like he could, I'm trying to think of some of the feats they said
the fucking
now.
sandbag, the 75 kilo sandbag.
Oh yeah, he kicked through a 75 kilo sandbag.
Yeah, so like how 75 kilos is...
And you need to think, this is 70s sandbag, so it's probably using
165 pounds.
165 pounds.
Yeah. So say Bruce Lee he's at welterweight. So he's kicking a bag his weight in half.
Yeah. And these are, I think they're burlap back then, right?
No, they'd probably still be leather.
Leather? Oh, yeah, leather. I was thinking that they're polyester now.
Oh,
but they might be.
Heavy bag.
And, yeah, leather is not something that's easy to cut. Like, even, like, cutting it is hard. You know why everyone wears leather in zombie movies? This is a real thing, I think. At least I've been told it's a real thing. It's because you can't bite through leather.
Yeah, it's always been made of leather or vinyl, unless they were made themselves.
Yeah.
Like, unless they were homemade bags. So he kicked through a 75 kilo fucking leather bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing he did.
Yeah.
I refuse. I refuse to believe that nonsense. And I mean, call me a hater, whatever. But, you know. Like, I just can't... I've seen what people can do with their bodies, man. I've seen what people can do with their bodies when they're honed to be weapons. And I've never seen a human do that. Ever. I've never seen a human kick through a heavy bag. And I've seen people kick some bags fucking hard, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they're designed not to do that. Like, it's... The material... Like, the reason you use sand... The specific reason why you put sand in them instead of, like, styrofoam is because sand is a material that will take the impact of the force and it will disperse it through the sandbag in a way that makes the sandbag not break. It's specifically designed not to break. If you made it out of styrofoam, you could kick it in half.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing, like Superman saying, like, yeah, he could punch faster than the camera could fucking pick up. These are black and white cameras. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
He could...
You know how film worked back then? It worked differently than it does nowadays.
Tell him.
Okay, so when it's black and white cameras, I know because I actually took a photography course. I have a lot of random experience.
Helps, dude. Helps, dude.
So
author.
The way that it worked is that the actually there would be still shutter speed. Because the shutter has, basically the film moves into position, the shutter opens, and then it takes in light, the shutter closes, the film moves to the next frame, and then the shutter opens again.
Yeah.
And that's how film was done back then. And so he would have to, and the shutter speed would be at, I think it was 29 frames a second, which means that his fist would have to go forwards. I'm assuming we're just doing the forward thrust, right? And not the forwards and back?
We'll say the whole action.
The whole action? Because that means that he would have to do it in 1/30th of a second. The whole thing.
He's got to
And if his arm is 2 feet long, that means that his arm would be traveling at 4 feet times 30 per second. So... what does that come to? 4 times 30 is 120 feet a second, which is about 100 meters. 100 meters a second. Like travel speed. So that's like...
So essentially, Bruce Lee, if he punched you, he could punch your heart out.
Yeah, that's like that's faster than professional pitchers can throw a baseball.
Yeah, he's a fucking nightmare in the pocket. That's why you can't talk shit on like Legends Bruce.
Yeah,
because Legends Bruce can blow your heart out one punch. Yeah,
22 feet per second. Yeah,
like he can punch you and you not even see it. Yeah, that's true. He's a fucking Dragon Ball character.
Yeah, at that point, might well be.
Straight up, if you're just like punching it, like, what the fuck? This dude's Yamcha.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee was Yamcha. Wait, hey, Superman, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a Dragon Ball character named after Bruce Lee, or like a mock-up Dragon Ball character named after Bruce Lee in like the original Dragon Ball series? I'm pretty sure that's how that worked. But anyway, what do you got anything else to say about Bruce?
I think I've said everything that I had planned.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, then let's move on to the next little ditty. What's the next one?
I mean, we have a lot to talk about with Boruto.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Let me get the background image.
Let's bring his stupid ass up here. Boruto's getting it next. He be getting it next.
Okay, we're just going to throw up the whole cast list, and it's huge, so I got to figure out how to shrink that.
Yeah, which is
Give me a second.
Like,
that's the wrong
us,
one.
But, yeah.
I am 100% prepared for this.
So, we got a couple problems with Boruto. Like, a couple. And when I say a couple, I mean probably 10.
I'm not used to moving stuff on stream.
Or 11.
Bear with me here.
Maybe 20 or 30, actually. You know? Because...
There we go.
They're just... The whole Boruto thing is a bunch of fuck up turkey bullshit. It's not even...
Yeah, Boruto's right in the center. Perfect.
There he is, that little fucking wiener. Okay. So, a couple problems with this series. Yeah. A couple problems with this series.
Let's just go over let's just go over the issues with it.
Animation.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah, that's
garbage.
the first thing to talk about.
Let's get that fucking out of the way, man.
It doesn't look as good as Naruto. Like I haven't watched a lot of Naruto. I'm gonna be completely honest. I have watched enough of it to know what the animation style looks like, and I've also played the games, which have a couple animated scenes in there, which I just found out recently aren't even canon, which throws off a lot of what I know about Naruto. But anyways,
they're canon for the games. But...
Yeah. But yeah, so I have an understanding of what the animation looks like, and then we've seen some shots from Boruto, and they just look bad.
They look terrible.
Like it's the characters look kind of miserable, decrepit, like
flat.
Flat's a good word for it. Yeah,
they look super flat. Like when Jigen is kicking the fuck out of everybody, and they all show up on the roof.
Yeah,
they just look like they look like there's a focus on animation everywhere else except for the characters.
Yeah,
maybe one or two characters.
Since we're talking about characters, because honestly, there's not much to say about the animation. It's not as good as the original series.
It's way less consistent.
It's less consistent. That's another thing, but consistency that can sometimes come from a place of budget and not of actual passion, because if you're pushing a studio, sometimes they'll go, okay, well, we need to get this shot out in the next 3 hours, so we're going to have bad animation for this just so we can push it out. And honestly, the studio could be under that type of pressure. That's a good point. They might have budget. I don't know.
Yeah, Superman's saying they got a lot of budget. Now, I don't really know, like, the entire background. I might actually, you know what, we might plan something to do like a whole Boruto episode.
Just a whole episode on Boruto?
Yeah.
Just talk about it?
Yeah, break it down. Because I think, like, that might be worth it.
Yeah,
that might be worth it. I don't know. We'll talk about it. And if, hey, you know what? Soups, if you get your people and your people think that we should, you know, maybe talk about it, let them know. We'll do something, like, we'll leave it to the comment section on our channel. Like, yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something with Boruto.
Yeah.
But it's just bad.
Yeah, I think what we should kind of get into next when it comes to the Boruto stuff, because the animation is something that we probably should look into a bit more to kind of figure out maybe the reasons why it's like that. But the thing when we talk about the characters, it's a lot of the older characters feel almost disrespected by the show, and it's come to a point where all of the characters that you thought were kind of at a reasonable level in the previous anime are now completely useless because the power scaling has just escalated past everyone.
Yeah. Power creep is such a problem in Boruto, but it's not in a way that like in Dragon Ball, you can get stronger. You can you can constantly build Goku to be stronger because of the way that the world is built, right? Well, the one thing that I think that these guys in Boruto have encountered now is because these aliens can do so much, and there's so many just requirements for the cast in Naruto and Boruto to stay current. There's so many requirements for them in order to stay powerful. In
order to stay relevant in the series.
Yeah, being able to weave jutsus, for instance. Everybody has to do that. Regardless of some guys later on, like Sasuke and Naruto, can do things without jutsus or without weaving signs or minimal sign weaving.
Yeah.
But a lot of the cast do.
Yeah.
So if you take that out of the equation, then a lot of the cast just becomes useless, right?
What
Jigen was doing when he was just opening his hand up and throwing rods all over the place on everybody.
Yeah, rods that travel insane speeds and just completely puncture anything that they hit.
I would say they're instantaneous, dude. I would say they don't come out of his hands. They would
just... There is some type of travel time because Sasuke was able to jump in the way when they went at Boruto that one time.
Oh, that's true.
So they do have travel time.
Yeah.
There is travel time. But even then, it's like the travel time is so insane that most characters can't even react to it.
Yeah.
Like Sasuke is an exception.
Yeah. Stupid fast.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's talk about that scene and the stupidity in that scene.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that whole scene. That whole scene's garbage.
There's 10 different inconsistencies in that whole fucking scene, and I really don't understand why.
Yeah, it's like you have... the situation starts with Boruto, Sasuke, and Naruto fighting this one guy, and he wants to kill Boruto / not kill Boruto. That's where it gets confusing.
Yeah. I know, bro. The whole show's garbage, but... This one scene is terrible.
We haven't watched the whole show. We've just watched certain parts of the show.
Honestly, I've heard the anime is pretty terrible, but the manga is a good read. So I might just speed read it.
Speed read the manga? Just check it out?
Well, I'm almost done Baki.
Okay, right, yeah.
And I need something to read anyway, and I'm going to read My Hero. So, I need something to read on the side when I'm,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can check that out.
So
but
I might do Boruto,
because,
Boruto, My Hero.
From a narrative standpoint, you have this character who he wants Boruto for some reason, for the thing that we don't like.
The thing?
Yeah, the thing.
The
Otsutsification.
It's the Otskutskutska. The Otskutskutska.
That thing.
I fucking hate it so much, dude.
Yeah. It's plot armor that makes Boruto better than every other character in the entire show.
Straight up. It's just I don't know. It was a way to do something better than Kurama.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we really don't know the difference or the extent of the Otsutsukutsuka. So, we're just going to kind of assume that it's going to be God tier by the end of it.
Exactly. And yeah, that's exactly it. And this guy, he's basically trying to get Boruto because of this Otsutsification thing.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that. And during that scene, he is literally trying to not kill Boruto, which we find out later. But you didn't know that when he did try to kill Boruto earlier in the scene, and Sasuke had to step in the way to stop Boruto from dying.
Potentially dying, yeah.
So it's like, you have a character who previously just tried to kill Boruto, then immediately after that is like, no, Boruto, don't kill yourself. I want you to be alive. and it's narrative inconsistency, character inconsistency. We do?
Yeah, you gotta hit done.
No, that's for changes.
What? Sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think the whole premise, the whole idea of it, especially again, like the whole thing with Jigen is like
No tag either, no tags.
Oh, we didn't put tags.
No, because I'm really bad at this. Use your stream manager. Yeah, we could do that on Twitch too. I think we can do it from here though. Let's put Boruto in here. I'm sure there's.
It's BOR.
I know how to spell stuff. You said it. Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't give us an option for that.
Manga.
Anime. We'll just do anime because we're talking about the
animals.
We're talking about the anime. We're not talking about the. And then if I hit done, do we have a tag now? Yeah, just chatting. We can do it just chatting too. Just chatting.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That helps for next time. Because we're being lazy about the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it tonight, man. We're gonna notify YouTube tonight.
We've been streaming on Twitch, but we kind of want. Actually, since we have a person, let's ask him. Yeah. We've been streaming on Twitch this whole time, mainly because YouTube won't let us stream because we have to do some authentication process in order to stream on YouTube. But since you're here, what do you think? Do you think we should stream on YouTube, or do you think we should just keep streaming on Twitch? Because, in my opinion, I think that the content that we're making is better for YouTube. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, two-factor authentication. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like you have to... I think it's more than two-factor authentication. I think you actually have to verify your account or something.
Well, either way. Well, back to the Boruto topic. I think so what I say is
do it on Twitch, record it, and upload it to you. That's exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Okay, we can just keep doing that then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Then we could just edit it if we want to edit it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I wish Boruto had I wish it had a better chance when it came out. That's basically what I want to say. I think there were so many detractors, and I was one of them. I was just like, you know what? Fuck this, bro. I'm going to
be completely honest. I didn't even watch all of Naruto, and I was a detractor on Boruto. I'm like, why are we having another series? Didn't Naruto have a conclusion? Yeah. Wasn't there a conclusive end to the show? Why do we have to keep this going?
What does his kid offer
that the previous series didn't offer?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I mean, giving him doesn't like justify the show being around.
Yeah,
making characters, like making pre-established characters irrelevant is not the move, Chief.
Yeah,
it's not the fucking move. Like Choji.
Yeah, exactly. It's like honestly, Boruto doesn't like. Again, I haven't watched it, but it almost looks like it feels... Where am I going with this? It almost feels like a completely separate entity because of how irrelevant most of the cast is.
Yeah.
You know?
No, exactly.
It's like... I mean, I feel like Boruto would be better. Instead of being like a sequel series, it should have just been a spin-off. It should have been a spin-off. Him doing his own thing with his own little problems, and the rest of the cast weren't involved because they just didn't know what he was doing, or because their problems were bigger than his problems. You know, downscale the series instead of trying to upscale it past Kaguya.
I guess Kaguya, yeah. Yeah, because now they just put a bunch of fucking aliens.
Yeah, now we've just got bigger and badder and stronger enemies, and we have a character who really shouldn't have the capability of fighting these characters.
No, but he's the only one that can now. Naruto and Sasuke are neutered.
Yeah.
The rest of the cast are claymation.
Yeah. That's good.
You know? Like, we got fucking Naruto, Sasuke, and Pingu and friends. Fucking... It's a shit show over here.
Yeah.
And I don't think... I really don't think that should have been the direction for them. I don't think that should have been the move.
Yeah.
At all. And it shows disregard for the series and source
I think
material.
spin-offs would have been good. Having spin-off series would have been fine.
100%.
They have spin-off series. Don't they have like a series about Lee or something?
No, they have books. They have like novels.
Oh, okay.
Novels.
Okay.
Like Sakura novels. They have Sasuke, separate Sasuke novels. Like, yeah, they just do it. They did it like that.
Yeah, because like it's this kind of perpetual. He mentioned the taking an old IP and just using it in new ways, and it's kind of become like I'm gonna say it. It's like a plague of these IPs where you get an IP that's good and popular, and then you go, oh, it has a conclusive end to the story. The story doesn't go on forever. It's not a one piece, And then the companies that have this IP are like, well, I guess we have to keep it going forever. They can't accept the fact that there's an end to the story, right? Like, you can keep an IP alive even after it's done. This is kind of off base here a bit, but let's talk about, like, Star Wars only had 6 movies, 7-8 years ago, right? And that didn't stop people who were fans of the series from continuing to consume content. They made comics, they made books, and people loved that supplementary content. Stuff that wasn't relevant, or I won't say relevant, but it wasn't like continuation of the movie story. It was just little like kind of side stories.
Well, they built a whole expanded universe just to appease the fans,
And it's like, why, like, that's the way that you should go with series like this. Series that actually do have an end. Where it's like, well, the story's over.
Yeah.
So what you do now is you take that story and that characters and you build on it. You add side stories. You make movies. I mean, that's what they were doing for a bit. They were making a lot of Naruto movies after the series ended. And I was okay with that.
Yeah. You don't disparage the source material.
Exactly.
It's just not the fucking move.
Yeah.
Like, when you're done with hybrids, you don't plan on running it to the fucking ground.
Exactly. There's an end to the series I'm writing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to go on forever.
And when it reaches its conclusion, it reaches its conclusion. Same as like.
But that doesn't mean I need to be done with the series either.
No.
I can keep making additional content.
Well, you've already talked about that, right? You already have plans for it once it's done.
Yeah.
But it's... The story of the hybrids is done.
Yeah.
That's a plug, by the way. That's a plug. Like,
this is a little plug.
Just a little plug. just a little tiny guy. Heads up for content if you guys want to check it out. It's coming along. Just got a new artist.
Yes, I did.
Hopefully.
Might as well talk about this for a bit. I've got a Patreon that has a link to a bunch of the stuff I've written for this series I've been working on since college. So 10 years now. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Throw in a link. In the chat, I have to find the link.
Yeah, like I got to look over some of the art, some of the stories. I like the fights. The fights are really cool.
Yeah.
And I have some favorite characters. I have a favorite character. No, I got a couple. And I don't know, like, it's a series where, like, liking the bad guys isn't necessarily a bad thing. Except for the mercenary. He's a dick. But Drago... There's a lot of, like... Drago's
characters
sick.
Like that.
Mindless.
Okay. How do I get my Patreon link? I'm new to this and I don't know how to do things. Do I just... Oh, I just take that... No, that's... I think I have to go to my homepage. There we go. And I just drop this in. There we go. Boom. Actually, I should test it on a Control-Shift New. I'm on the wrong thing. Control-Shift New. I gotta test it on here to make sure that it's actually the link actually works. Yep, there we go.
Okay.
There,
link in the chat.
Just threw it in chat.
Okay. So that was a little bit of dead air, but yeah. It is a good series overall. Like I'm gonna. Yeah. Like I got a favorite character, and he's a badass. He's a badass, and if anybody likes it, check it out. Hey, so I think, yeah, honestly, I think Boruto might end up being an episode. It's just coming out to be a lot.
Oh, yeah. Black Superman's asking for us to make him a mod. We should have mods. I don't know how to make mods, though. Users in chat. This is how new we are to this, just to let you know. Black Superman. We should totally add him as a friend. Add friend?
Yeah, didn't we? Oh, no, this is for Twitch. Okay, I see.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
Okay. Well, do you want to...
We can add him as a friend.
Well, no, I was going to say, do you want to end the stream and we'll just do all this after?
Actually, that's a good point. We're going close to an hour now, so maybe we'll just close out here.
Yeah, basically, so our closing statements. Today actually went a little bit better than I thought.
Yeah?
It's kind of, bit of a slow day for us, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you
just
mean...
in terms of, like, topics.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
But
I mean, we got a few things out. We got some...
Exactly.
We got some insight on how to do things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
You know what? This was a growing episode, if anything.
Yeah, we're growing and kind of not accustoming. That's not a real word.
We're just
climatizing to the world, whatever you want to call it.
Our situation, and this is the thing. Like we're new to Twitch, we're new to YouTube, but we're growing. We're trying to build a fan base. Again, we're trying to make friends. We're trying to make enemies. I'm beefing with all the Bruce Lee heads. Fuck all y'all. You want to debate me? Jake Paul wins. Low diff, 2 rounds. Like, 3 minutes, 5 minutes doesn't matter. Bruce doesn't make it to the 3rd round. It doesn't matter. I'm doing Kengan debates. I'm doing Baki debates. I'll do some Naruto debates if I have to. I feel like the topic's done, I don't mind doing them, but I feel like the Naruto debates are kind of dead.
Oh yeah, they're not really going anywhere recently.
Yeah, not any cool ones. I kind of want to do, the Star Trek debates, that's one thing I want to do. I want to do a captains versus captains, but it's again trying to figure out the format of the debate and how to actually debate it. Is it based on efficiency as a captain?
Yeah.
Who is literally the better captain, and how do you determine that?
That would be the 100% of the debate is what makes a good captain, and does my captain that I'm fighting or debating for have those traits, right? That's what you want to figure out, because being a captain is a subjective thing, right? So that's something that's debatable. Is what actually makes you good at your whatever it is, even if you're not a captain. What makes you good at your job?
Well, because like you said, there's things that Janeway just does better than both of them.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't put her as the best captain.
No, but that's why she stays in the top 3.
Yeah, exactly.
It's undebatable that the top 3 are Picard and Janeway.
There's a couple people who will debate for Cisco being above Janeway.
But Cisco's a psycho. I won't give him that. He blew up a planet. He nuked a planet.
Yeah.
Just to be a shithead.
That's one of those things where someone said this makes him the coolest captain or something.
The most ruthless captain.
The most ruthless captain. Okay. Really? That's acceptable because he is ruthless. Just nuking a planet because they were holding terrorists.
Yep.
Something like that.
Suspected of holding terrorists.
He's an anti-hero, Cisco. That's what Superman said. And yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but does that merit being would that be considered a trait of being a good captain?
Well, no. That's like saying Deadpool is a good hero.
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah.
So what? Where would we?
Well, that's like it's one of those things where it's like being a good character doesn't necessarily mean you're a good captain.
Yeah.
If he's an anti-hero, it kind of de facto makes him a bad captain.
Yeah.
But he could still be a good character.
Okay.
Aside from that.
So it's just ultimately a different argument.
Exactly.
With Cisco.
And that's why I said, like, you really need to lay down what makes a good captain when you're doing the debate.
Yeah.
To actually...
If it's a moral debate, then Cisco is just out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if it's
and morality usually comes in when it comes to captains, especially with Star Trek, because Star Trek is the kind of show that goes like one of the pinnacle catchphrases is the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah.
And that is something that Cisco has not shown. Kirk, Picard, Janeway. That's pretty much what most people say.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That's pretty much how you feel.
Yeah, I'm in the same school as well. I didn't really like the Cisco play was jarring. Maybe I'll watch
Boruto out of here.
Maybe I'll watch the Cisco episode. Maybe we'll find it and watch it and see what the context is behind it.
See what the context is?
Yeah, because maybe we have like kind of a jaded opinion because it's a clip. But I don't know. I would like to think that we're kind of correct in this school. I would like to think that there isn't a way that he's a good guy in that situation. He did kind of just nuke a planet. You know?
Yeah.
So maybe we should check the episode out and see what it looks like.
Yeah. Maybe we can check it out. We got like Netflix has all the
Star Treks.
All the Star Trek, so we can check those out.
Yeah. I just need to figure out which episode Cisco nuked the planet is.
Yeah. It's with the Maquis.
Yeah, the Maquis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't it shouldn't be hard to find. What do we... Yeah, Picard has a better moral compass. Kirk makes a lot of mistakes. Yeah, and the thing is Kirk's... He's not irresponsible because he's rash. He's not negligent because he's brash. He's... I think it's endearing. I think his brash nature is endearing.
I mean, that's an acceptable reason.
Just because the way that the rest of his crew operates, he doesn't have a guy that operates on that level.
Yeah, that has like the kind of brash nature.
Yeah, well, like I asked you a couple days ago, like if Commander Riker is, essentially like a mirror of Picard.
And and I basically
mirror of Kirk, sorry.
And I basically said like, yeah, he does have that tendency, because in the original series, there was no first officer.
No.
And then in the Next Generation, you had the first officer, which was Commander Riker. And Commander Riker really did kind of fall into the role of being kind of the brash side of Kirk, the suave, the kind of outgoing, the
quick-tempered, like
quick-tempered, yeah.
Yeah. And again, like I've seen people try to say that was Worf. Picard he's a normal guy who's a captain. That's what I like about him. Is that's Kirk, right? You mean Kirk or Picard?
He's talking about Picard, I think.
Picard.
Oh no, Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah, Kirk was like a good old boy.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, like I've been learning a lot recently. Like I just can't stand the new remakes now. Like now that I'm kind of watching.
Yeah, now that you're watching the originals, you look at the remakes that were made by J.J. Abrams.
Jar Jar Abrams. And it's gross. It's really gross. It takes... Especially Spock. They did Spock really dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say. They made Spock... Kirk, you can play with.
Yeah, Superman's saying it's a different universe, though. It's technically not a different universe. It's technically the same universe in a different timeline. So the characters should be relatively similar.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like it, I just don't want to believe.
It's butterfly effect. Yeah, but the thing is, like, when you mess with timelines, you need to consider where the character was when the timeline was edited. So Kirk and Spock should be the same. They should like before any changes happened. They should be in the same place that they were if they were that age in the original series, right? We do have to consider the fact that they're younger. That's going to change their personality, obviously. But even if you change, even if you say, they're younger versions of themselves, and they haven't kind of got to that level of maturity, I do still, like, kind of, when you look back and forth between the two, it does feel like there are certain things that really
just were misunderstood.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, let's say, I'm going to try and think of an example for this. Trying to think of, like, a river. Like, if you have a log that goes down the river and the current takes it in a certain direction, right? And then you go, okay, well, I'm going to take this log and I'm going to take it back to the top of the river, and the current's not going to be the same this time because of whatever reason. You still should expect that the log would move in generally the same direction for a bit, right?
Yeah.
If you put it in the exact same place as it was when you first had it go down the river, right? Obviously, like a ways down the line, there's going to be vast differences, but from the starting point, it should be close to what it was the first time.
Yeah. And I think that's where they didn't. That's where they just played on way too many ideas.
Yeah.
Spock is a completely different person.
Yeah.
It's not like a mirror. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's almost like
And what makes it worse is they actually have Leonard Nimoy as original Spock in that, and so you can kind of see the difference between the two.
Exactly. You can
gauge it. Doesn't. It almost doesn't feel like he's looking at a younger version of himself.
Yeah, no, it's like he's looking at a different Vulcan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, you're a cool.
I don't know. I'll have to rewatch them because it's been a while since I've watched them.
Yeah, like I think. I just wonder. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Once we finish the OG series, run through the movies quick and see what we're missing.
Exactly. Kind of do a side-by-side comparison.
Yeah, or like
once we have some
go
perspective.
through those events,
Actually, that would be better. Yeah. We can watch Star Trek original, and then we can watch the Star Trek, Star Trek the first movie, and then we can watch the Star Trek first movie reboot. Then we can watch the Wrath of Khan, and then we can watch the Wrath of Khan in the
fucking
reboot.
Jar Jar Abrams.
Yeah, Jar Jar Abrams.
You fucking love it. So disrespectful lately. Everybody's getting fucking heat. Oh my god.
Okay, well, we've been going a little over an hour now, so I think we should probably close out the stream.
A shout out to Black Superman for popping in.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Yeah, today was a good episode. We're back. We fucking loved you guys. Can't wait to the next episode. We're gonna do something fun. We're gonna actually plan the next episode. I swear we keep saying we're gonna plan them, but the crazy thing is when we do, we get a 12-hour tier list out. We get a 12-hour we do 12 hours of fucking editing all week, and we get a tier list out that's just serious work. So that
tier list is available on our
on our
podcast channel. We'll probably make a shorter version for our regular YouTube channel.
100%. Well, we also have a shorts channel that we're using, and we also have a segment channel that we're gonna start using. I think we're gonna try to put together a couple ideas to build some good episodes, but again, thanks for coming by, everybody. The heat was real this time. Again, we didn't get out as much as we wanted to on Boruto, but trust me, I think it's because it's going to be, it's.
We should probably
break that down,
and also put more put more research into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do some more digging into the series so we have more things to talk about.
This is one of those things that I was thinking going into it. I was like, I don't want to say something incredulous and have people pissed off for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
Right? Don't be mad because we fucked up. Be mad because we're just like yeah, like you say that, eh? No, we'll put something cool together. It'll be good. Like, again, you know what we've been talking about and seeing about like a lot lately, like the comic industry just getting fucking molested by the manga industry.
Yeah.
So maybe we should plan an episode on that.
We could probably talk about that for a bit.
Because you know what, like, you're an author, so you would have a lot of insight into that situation and like how shit's being sold, the difference between like writing styles, you know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I've got comic books printed before, so I have experience in that too.
Again, yeah, like if you guys want to pick up anything that
Not published, printed, just for clarification.
Yeah,
those are different.
You guys want to check out anything he's done? Go to his Patreon. We plugged the Patreon. We'll also plug it in the links when we post the video on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll put it on the description of the video so you can check it out if you want to.
Exactly. Let's get the community growing. Like, again, we fucking love you guys. You always come back for more pie, and that's a big thing.
Yeah,
that's a big thing. We miss you guys. We love you guys. Again, we will plan something for the next episode. I think. So I think what we're gonna do. Yeah, I think what we're gonna do. We're gonna plan. Well, we'll plan a couple episodes, and the next ones are gonna be thought out, written a little better.
Yeah.
Have some fun with it. We're learning every fucking day. We're learning some new shit every time we do some streams. Every time we upload on YouTube, we always learn some new shit. And we appreciate y'all for coming. Pie Truck, what do you gotta... No?
Yeah, I think...
Big high five to fucking... big high five to everybody out there. Big love to all y'all. I know COVID's kind of fucking crazy. But stay safe, okay? We love y'all. Deadass, we love all y'all. And ultimately, just, hey, be on team, people. Unless you're like a Bruce Lee fan, then fuck you. If you're a Legends Bruce Lee fan, then fuck you. I don't want you on team, people, bro. How about that?
Yeah, thanks for coming by. Thanks for viewing our content.
Yeah, thanks for stopping
If you're watching this on YouTube, then like and subscribe.
Always. Thanks for coming to have a slice of pie with us.
Yep. See you, everyone.